which happened yesterday. I signed a pair of boots that Betsy, somebody, she's one of your top designers, is designing the Rocky Horror boots. And I signed the boots yesterday. And the whole thing about the play was this girl had bought what she thought were my boots at auction. And she wanted the real Patricia Quinn to sign them at the convention so she could get the money, leave her boring husband, and join the Las Vegas cast. And the other girl. So we Magentas make fun of them and whatever. But then at the end, the girl playing Lady Stevens, Magenta, stepped out, and I, Pat Quinn, came in as her, as myself, and talked to the girls and whatever. So again, that was extraordinary. But I was asked to go to the rehearsals of the show, you know, because I had to be put into it, so I had to rehearse. So those girls that day playing me in this play, they were very nervous because I was watching me being them, being me being them. And I, oddly enough, was very nervous because it was very strange to see people play you, you know? So anyway, that's my only sort of nerve-wracking story.
Actually, one of the other questions that we wanted to ask goes right in line with what you're just talking about. You know, there have been a lot of rumors and talk, and of course a few people have been deliberately fueling rumors hoping to make something happen of the possibility of there being a remake or a redo of Rocky. If that were to happen and they were to come to you and say, Miss Quinn, you get to pick who takes your part, is there anyone working today that you can think of that you would say, I want her to take on this legacy of mine?
No.
I have to say they'd be awfully difficult shoes to fill, I think.
So,
no, quite all right.
It's not that I have seen so many Magentas, I've seen so many shows. And it's like this. It's like I've played Lady Macbeth, you know, and you read in books and things about Mrs. Siddons, Lady Macbeth, that she turned to stone, she blanched white. I found out since from Sir Ralph Richardson, it's a lighting trick. You put a spot on the floor and you hit the face and you go like a ghost. And I thought, how am I going to look like it? How am I going to act blanching out, you know, like as if about... And so that everything is comparable, you know, that you think this one did it and that one did it and how they did this and how they did that. But when you begin at the beginning and the part's just written and you make the part, it's kind of like you own it. It's not being selfish or anything, it's just one created that. So whoever first played the Lady Macbeth, some boy in Shakespeare's day, I'm sure he thinks he is Lady Macbeth.
Well, if you have time for one more question.
Yeah.
If you don't mind if we ask a slightly risque question, we'd actually had a few people put in some input about this. You were talking yesterday about your love scene with John Cleese. And we were wondering a bit, you know, there had been some things discussed. Of course, Nell Campbell did a couple of very brief bits of topless stuff in the Rocky film. And it was discussed that Susan Sarandon was asked but declined to do so. Was there ever any indication or request to you going back to stage show days that you ever do anything like that? Was there ever something that came up at all?
So Little Nell wasn't asked to do anything topless. Little Nell is a flasher. Sorry, darling. She's always getting them out. And I saw her even on stage. And I used to wonder, why did she get fan mail and I didn't? I'm sorry. Nellie's always doing that. Even when she sings her song, I'm in the swim, I'm in the swim, I'm in the swim. Pop! Out of her costume. Oops! Sorry. There. So, what were you asking me about me being topless?
I didn't. I was just curious if that was... Is it because there had been things in some of the books and stories that Susan Sarandon was asked to do it and declined. So I was just
not
curious,
in Pretty Baby and things.
In Rocky Horror, according to some of the things that have been published, she was asked to do a topless portion of the film and declined. I don't know if that's accurate.
I find that incredible. I wouldn't quite believe that because it's not within the character to do that. Do you know what I mean? I'd be very, very surprised if she was asked to do that.
There's been several of the fan publications. That's one of the reasons I wanted to ask because it's always questionable when you read that if it's not coming from someone that was there.
Yeah, so. I wouldn't have thought she was asked to do that. Why? Why would she be asked to? No. Nobody was asked to do that. John Cleese, I accepted the job. I mean, I did my Hammer House of Horror. I was kind of without clothes occasionally. I did a play by Tony Schaffer, Murderer. I was undressed in that. Well, a dead body, that was undressed. And, you know, I did quite a lot of that stuff. And in fact, I was even put into a newspaper article about, you know, people in town who've been, you know, sort of likened to girls from the Whitehall Theatre who did kind of topless stuff, you know. So but I've never, it's never bothered me. I don't think about it. Because when I was going to do the Cleese thing, my agent said, well, you know, it's getting undressed again and whatever. I said, well, I don't care, I want to work with John Cleese. And then it was so funny after I went to the party afterwards and with my husband, and I was standing with him, and I said to John Cleese, hi, how are you? And he said, oh, hello. He said, hello, pussycat. I hardly knew you with your clothes on. Thanks.
Return of the Old Queen. And looking at some of that versus what happened in Shock Treatment, I'm curious, since Riff Raff and Magenta have such limited parts in that and have no actual lines, did he discuss that with you at all? I mean, were you aware that he was writing a part that you might have been in where you would have had absolutely nothing to do but appear in a few scenes?
Oh, he probably hadn't written it yet. I mean, when we got Rocky Horror, there weren't any lines out. You know, we wrote it daily. No, it's not that. I do remember that. Because I read somewhere, he had me killed off in a magazine or something. And I said, I went to a party of the, was it like giving out the VHS or something? And I said, I've heard that you're doing this film, The Old Queen, and I'm not in it. Is that true? Am I not to be in this? And he said, sorry, we can't discuss this now. I said, I can discuss it now, because it was a very big room full of press and, you know, and I just couldn't believe it. I know we killed Nell, but nobody killed me. I said, and I also read that, you know, you've murdered me or killed me in a magazine somewhere. Some stories got out that, you know, something happened to me. I said, well, I'm still around, Richard.
That's fabulous. Well, thank you so much for giving us all this time. We appreciate that.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you so much for being a part of this for all of us.
Oh, darling, it's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Because all you of Earth are idiots.